It's not so much spare time this evening, it's more a case of spare time!
Cults, Celts and Kilts in tonight's programme. John Holmes will be locking horns with the Hinckley-based Arthurian Society in an attempt to find out the truth about King Arthur and his warriors, and I shall be investigating the independent filmmakers of the Midlands, and we'll be marching out with the carnival bands at a competition in Loughborough. But first, independent films. In Nottingham, the Midland Group, and in Birmingham, the Film Workshops, are two centres where independent filmmakers work on their projects. Their aim is to make films which are an alternative to the commercial cinema, using ideas and techniques which stand outside the normal run of filmmaking. Well, for example, here's a short extract from a film made by Paul Denby, demonstrating the way the camera converts a person into an object.
Do you want some coffee?
No, thank you. About watching them.
In what way? What do you look for?
Their eyes.
Their eyes?
Yeah. Like if you're talking to them and somebody's looking away, they're not really listening, are they? I mean, you look at me, but what is it you're thinking? What's going on in your head? I don't know. Or in my head, for that matter. You're told all the time. I mean, and you're not aware of it. Like you buy a newspaper. You're only reading what people want you to read, right? You're being manipulated. You're not told all the facts. Just like wherever you go, if you go into a shop, you're being manipulated into what you buy by the way things are presented.
Brian Byrne, the style of that film is very disjointed and difficult to follow. The essence of it is its technique. Is this what independent filmmaking is about, that the audience has to work hard to understand?
Well, yes. I mean, the films are made in that style to get the audience more involved in watching the film, to try and see exactly how it's being made.
Now, originally, independent films were what's called arty, in the sense that they were something to look at for their own sake, and there didn't necessarily have to be a theme or a story. But I think now the trend is towards there being a documentary element.
Yes, but still using that style where the audience has got to take a more active part in watching the film, rather than just being sitting there passively, being fed with the information. They've got to take a lot of care in what they're doing now, how they're watching the film.
Your own history is that you went and did a course in TV and filmmaking, and then you chose to take a completely separate job and make films in your spare time. Why is that? Why didn't you go into a commercial filmmaking?
Well, the constraints of the style of films you've got to make and the way you make them, and the aspects on amount of time. Like television's all geared up to time, but making films independently, you've got more freedom. You don't have to worry too much about when the film has to be finished for a start.
One of the greatest constraints, though, of course, is finance. If you haven't got money coming in, you can't make a film. How are you financed?
Well, we get grants from the local arts authority in this region. It's West Midlands Arts, and they're funded by the British Film Institute. And one of the things West Midlands Arts has done up in this area is set up a film workshop, which is 16mm equipment for filmmakers to use.
Right. Yulish Walia, you're one of the people who's benefited from this, and you had, what, £1,500 to make a film?
Yes, the British Film Institute did a budget for this, for the film, and it came to £13,000. Unfortunately, West Midlands could only give £1,500.
And what constraints did this put on the film as you made it?
Well, it meant I had to cut down on film stock. I had to ask all my friends to come and help me free. I had to write, produce and direct the film myself. I had to do lots of other jobs which I would prefer other people to take over.
Is this fair on the audience to ask them to come and see a film that has been put together absolutely at the limits of your resources?
Oh yes, yes. I don't see why not.
The
film is, after all, a finished product, and I don't tell my audience that this has been made with just £1,500. I expect them to judge it and see it as any other well-financed film.
What's the film about?
It's about the problems that Asian girls face when they grow up in Britain. They go to school and they have English culture, whereas they come home and they have strict parents who don't really like the fact that they are being influenced.
Well, we're going to see a clip from that now. Can you say very briefly what this is going to be about?
Yes, the clip tries to show the problems she faces from her boyfriend, who is English, and also the isolation she feels because of the conflict.
Not much haldi left. Must remember to get some next time I go to the Indian shop around the corner. Wonder what the owner thinks of me. He knows I'm living alone and I've noticed the way he looks at me. Probably thinks I'm an easy lay. No, Mike, don't. Please. Not yet.
Why not? What's the matter?
I just can't.
Why not?
It's not so easy for me. I need more time. I wish he liked Indian food, though.
That makes me ill, Joe.
Well, you'll just have to get used to it because I'm not going to cook and eat English food every day.
But you don't mind English food.
You're right. I don't mind English food, but that doesn't mean I like it or prefer it to Indian. To be quite honest, I think it's tastelessly boring.
Oh, well, we'll face that problem when we get to it.
We're facing it right now.
Hey, not tonight, Josephine.
Don't call me Josephine. I've told you that before. Call me Joginder if you like, but not Josephine.
Oh, for Christ's sake. If you're looking for a fight, I'll tell you what the problem is right now. It's that just because your parents object, you will not even move in with me, let alone marry me. You are over 18. You can do as you
Mike,
please.
we've been through all this before. He is right, though.
कभी कभी
Mike, you know, it's at times like these I wish you were Indian. If you could only understand what he is saying. The words are so beautiful.
It all sounds like wailing to me.
What's been the response to that film?
It's had one screening so far, and the response has been mixed. The English audiences have liked it a great deal, but the Asians have been rather hostile towards it. I think that's because they feel that it doesn't cover the problems deeply enough, or it doesn't cover all the problems. But I just say that, after all, it's a half-hour film, and there are restrictions to what you can do.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope that from the feedback you go on to make more and more films. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now we go out into the uncharted terrain at the back of Pebble Mill, where John is doing battle with the Arthurians.
Safe to come out. I'm fighting for the Arthurian Society, King Arthur's men, the Celts. And with me I've got Medrawt, better known as Gregory Droach. We're fighting a battle at the moment. It's all very tiring, jolly good fun. But what's the point in it?
Well, the point in it is that we, Arthur's men, King Arthur's hosts, are trying to stop the oncoming tide of Saxons who are invading this country, trying to take our land. And we are fighting for our heritage, as it were.
These are the filthy Saxons
yes,
over there?
Yes, that rather vile lot over there, yes.
But why do it?
Well, it really is great fun. We make our costumes from scratch. We take great pride in making our costumes. It takes lots of work to make the shield up with the plenty of studs in it, as you see. And when we are fighting, we have lots of practices, and there's a great sense of spirit on both sides. It really brings the people on both sides together in something that you wouldn't find in the ordinary everyday life.
Well, you're Medrawd, who's one of Arthur's men.
Yes,
Let's
that's
bring
right.
in King Arthur.
Yes, Arthur, my lord.
Do I say my liege?
Greetings.
Greetings. You are a king, are you?
A warlord.
A warlord?
Yes, the king that came 500 or 600 years later when the poor old Celts were reeling from the Norman onslaughts.
So he wasn't made a king until he was well after his death?
Yeah, well after his death. More of a small warlord.
Why do you go in for it?
Well, myself and Robert formed the society a few years ago because our great love of history and King Arthur, and it's a great escapism. You know, the weekends you can get away from your 20th century and run around raping, pillaging, and having a general good time.
But Arthur was much further south than we are, isn't he? Or wasn't he?
Could be. Who knows? There was a Celtic kingdom at this period in the Midlands, so who knows? Arthur was all over the place. He may have rode this way to help him. Who can say?
It's probable that Arthur, with a base down in the south, also fought battles in the north and would have travelled through this area, picking up fighters on the way to go and fight against the Saxons.
Well, if we've got a King Arthur, we should have a Guinevere. Is that right?
Yes, we have a Guinevere.
Guinevere, do come up. What a lovely-looking Guinevere we have as well. Now, there's lots of things go on in these battles. There's pillage. Are you in it for the pillage?
Well, yeah, I suppose you could say yes.
Or were you more interested in the other bit?
Well, that as well.
So what role do you take in the battles then?
Well, basically I get captured and these good men
we have
rescue my queen.
And you enjoy that?
Oh, yes.
Well, in
Good
that
fun.
case, what can I say except let battle commence!
I lead these warriors! Come on, Arthur, impale him! Just enough pagan! Take him, George! Split him, Curtis! He's but a child, two of them no longer! Away with him! Split him! Come on, Arthur! Run him through! Take him! One left! This one's mine! Come on, take him! Stop toying with him! That's it, take him! Oh, the day is ours, Arthur! Christos! Christianos!
Well, while John takes care of the once and future king, we'll look to future events in calendar. In calendar this week, we're concentrating on activities for the school holidays and on family events. Cannon Hill Park in Birmingham promises great things over the coming weeks. On Saturday, the 9th of August, there's Independence Rendezvous, an all-day celebration in music, drama, poetry and dance of that momentous occasion when several of the West Indian islands became independent.
And then on the following Saturday, Caribbean Fiesta, Birmingham's answer to Trinidad's famous carnival, with limbo dancing, Caribbean food and drink, children's own carnival fashions, and the Maestro's steel band. While inside, Kermit, Miss Piggy and friends star in the Muppet movie from the 17th onwards.
Tuesdays in August are a must for young filmgoers at Birmingham Arts Lab. The Three Musketeers next week is just one of the short series of 50p afternoon films, which ends with Superman the movie on the Tuesday after Bank Holiday. With your support, these afternoon films will become a regular feature.
In addition, the Arts Lab are presenting Lumiere & Sons' new theatre show, Circus Lumiere, a macabre show based on clowns and clowning, with escapologists, man-eating crocodile and other bizarre characters, which are, we're told, strictly for grown-ups. However, the kids will love Pentabus Theatre Company's The Greatest Show on Earth, near Shrewsbury tomorrow at the Dorrington Show, at Bridgnorth next Thursday at the Burwarton Show, and Saturday week at Clun's Carnival.
Moving over to the East Midlands, two separate exhibitions in the Midland Group galleries. A retrospective look at the work of Patrick Caulfield, one of Britain's leading printmakers, and Beaver, A View of the Vale, a 2-year photographic project by colleague Reiners, recording aspects of community life in the threatened area.
The Emma Theatre Company are back on the road during the first 3 weeks of August with their outdoor show, King Arthur, and their indoor show, Emma's Pierrots, based on the English beach shows of the early 1900s. Look out for them on the streets of Nottingham and in local day centres.
Leicester Phoenix's new film theatre arises with a season of what they call films about the family. But don't be misled, no Swiss Family Robinson here. It includes Oedipus Rex, The Godfather and Mon Oncle. In this 40th anniversary of the Battle of Britain year, you might spare the time to visit the Midland Air Museum at Coventry Airport, Baginton, where the collection of 25 historic aircraft is preserved by amateur enthusiasts whom you can join for as little as £5.
And finally, Europe's largest ever Sparetime festival, Recro 80, was launched in the Midlands today at the Royal Showground, Stoneleigh. It's the leisure industry's shop window, a fantastic array of all kinds of goodies with the accent on spectator participation. You can try your hand at almost anything, or just have a good laugh at other people having a go. It's on until Sunday the 10th of August. And if you have 2 kids and a car, it'll cost you £8 to get in, but well worth every penny. Give it a go.
And straight on now to the very last bargain buys, the lowdown on the highbrow in the region. This week, we're exploring on the Western Front.
Hereford's Nell Gwynn Theatre has a club and membership is £2.50. Club members organise barbecues and social events to raise money for the theatre and volunteer their help in box office, bar and front of house. If you're interested, write with the stamped address envelope to the Membership Secretary, Nell Gwynn Theatre, Edgar Street, Hereford.
Still in that part of the world, the Friends of the Hereford Museums aim to foster interest in the region's arts. They raise funds to support both local artists and museums. Benefits of the £4 membership include visits to other galleries, previews of exhibitions, lectures and social events. If you'd like further details, write to Hereford City Museum and Art Gallery, Broad Street, Hereford.
Worcester's Swan Theatre has a supporters group in the shape of the Worcester Arts Theatre Club. Membership costs £1.50, and that entitles you to join in the activities of the Worcester Society of Artists and the work of the resident amateur company at the Swan. Members are active in helping to run the theatre and receive 1 week's priority booking and concession on ticket prices. Write to Worcester Arts Theatre Club, Swan Theatre, The Moors, Worcester, WR1 3EF.
Still in Worcester, the Friends of the City Museum and Art Gallery arrange monthly trips to other museums, hold lectures, social evenings and fundraising efforts for the 3 Worcester museums, and membership is £1. You can find out more details from City Museum and Art Gallery, Foregate Street, Worcester, WR1 1DT.
Over to Evesham now, and the Arts Centre there opens its new season in September with a wide variety of events to suit all tastes. Administered by the Evesham Arts Association, anyone can join for as little as £1. This entitles you to a quarterly newspaper, advance billing, concession on tickets, and the opportunity to take a more active role by joining the Friends of the Arts Centre. For further details, write to Laurie Griffith Jones, 12 Croft Road, Evesham. And don't forget that stamped address envelope.
Finally, the Malvern Theatre Association provides both active and financial support for the Festival Theatre. Members who pay £1.50 have the opportunity to enjoy social events, such as after-show parties, visits to other theatres, and provide unpaid staffing for the theatre. Write with a self-addressed envelope to Malvern Festival Theatre, Grange Road, Malvern, Worcestershire.
Well, time marches on, and earlier in the summer, so did I. Or at least I tried, when I went on parade with the Breaston Highlanders. The Breaston Highlanders from Long Eaton, Derbyshire, getting in a last-minute practice before a competition. It's at Loughborough's Southfields Park, and they're competing against some of the top teams in the Carnival Band Secretaries League. The Highlanders bandmaster is Bert Cook, and he keeps the band up to the mark with practice twice a week throughout the year. If he sees anything he doesn't like, he says so.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What's happening then? Right. Can you all come in a little way, please? Just bunch up a bit. Now you're doing it all wrong. What have I just been telling you before we came on? What about this spacing I was telling you about, right? How many paces? 4 paces this spacing's supposed to be. And what about these shoulders as well? Let's see these shoulders back, right? I've always taught you to do it. Heads up, yes? Arms straight down by your sides, and this marking time. We don't want any of this business, right? Want it done properly, like I've told you to do.
Bert, as band master, what do you look for in rehearsal?
Well, my own sort of section is looking at the marching. There are different section leaders to learn the brass, and there are a section leader to learn the drummers, and there's a section leader to learn the pipers. And I do the overall, knit the whole lot together. And on the displays, we look for, obviously, entertainment value for the public, precision marching, Highland dancing, the uniform, which we're proud of, which is a Highland dress, and as I say, the entertainment of the public and enjoyment of the members, I think, as well.
Now, you said your speciality is the marching. So how do you plan that?
Well, I start off with a graph paper or something similar, onto which I select the graph squares. I call that graph square, say, 1 pace or 2 paces, whatever it might be, right? So you can see from this particular line here that that particular person, which is the first leader, has marched onto the arena so many paces. In this case, it's 2, 4, 6, 8 paces, right? Sorry, 8, 10, 12. Then out, back, round, and so on.
It all looks very complicated to me. Now, the last time I marched was in the Sea Scouts, which is, well, it doesn't matter how many years ago. Do you think I could have a go?
Of course you could, yes, why not?
Back!
Somewhere.
Attention!
Just like to walk down here. How about this place here?
There?
Uh-huh.
Do I get to use a drum?
No, I'm afraid not. No. Just off from the left. You say you've been in the Sea Scout.
You have to keep a straight face.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Not too serious, not too serious. No, I want to see you smiling.
The Breaston Highlanders were founded as long ago as 1931, when the marching band movement spread all over the country as people sought ways of taking their minds off the Depression. Today, the membership of the band spans 3 generations, and they get the chance to travel about this country and to the continent, performing in functions and competitions. The marchers have to remember all the moves for a 15-minute display. It's harder than it looks, and it doesn't look easy. After a minute or so, I was confused as well as deafened. You know, it's a darn sight harder than you think, isn't it? I thought I got it right, you know, from the Sea Scout training. The first bit was when everybody split up. But how did I do?
Well, not too bad the first time, but obviously you didn't start in this position, did you?
No.
I think, in actual fact, when I put you in the band in the first place, you was amongst the drummers.
Well, I lost them.
Yes, well, this is the whole idea, as I explained to you.
Well, everybody split up and I was on my own.
Uh-huh. Well, you can understand that it requires a lot of practice, hours of practice in actual fact, and the band practices 2 or 3 times a week. You know, in fairness to you, you didn't do too bad for the first time.
The Highlanders' uniform is a hunting Stuart kilt, tunics, Glengarrys, sporrans and spats. While the band are waiting for the competition to start, beady eyes check every detail from top to bottom because points are deducted for bad dress. Meanwhile, the judges and band secretaries are briefed.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The 3 judges are present. That's the marching, the display and the music judge. Sergeant Elliott on marching, Sergeant Pacey on display, Sergeant McGee on music. Rules of the contest for you 3, although you've received them. I'll run through them briefly. First of all, marching and deportment. Faults to be judged on military lines, and our only request is that all bands from first to last are judged on the same basis and faults denoted on the judging sheets.
One of the Highlanders' rivals at Loughborough is the Derby Regalia Band. Although the marching is more or less standard, the bands develop a personality of their own.
There is 3 subjects: marching, display, music and dress. 4 adjudicators. Each judge has 25 points to start with, and points are deducted for mistakes made out in the arena by the band on each of those 4 subjects. On the marching, you've got the bands in formation, so therefore you're looking to make sure that each file is correct in its alignment. On the dress, it's a case of uniformity. If the judge considers that someone's uniform is not being worn quite as correct as another member's, or the vast majority of the members, then a point is deducted for that mistake. The display judge more or less covers the routines. This is the most difficult subject for a layman to judge, is the display, because he's got to take everything into account in relation to the correct turnings in the display and the figure marches, and also the entertainment value presented by that band.
Well, the Highlanders were placed 4th in the Loughborough competition, but the winners, who've been winning most things since 1949, were the Derby Serenaders, bringing a touch of the Mediterranean to our chilly Midland summer.
So that's it for the present series. We've enjoyed ourselves, and we hope that you have too.
If there's any further information you'd like about any of the items in this series, do drop us a line about the ones that particularly interest you.
And if you've got a spare time activity that you think will interest us, then do write. For now, good night.